So I think the Strymon Iridium has to have a bunch of credit for kind of popularizing this kind of idea. Now, of course, I think Sans Amp may be the first people that did this sort of thing. Tech 21 in terms of putting an amp simulation in a small format. It's a Rockman, does that count as well? But anyway, this is the Amp Academy. They sent me this a little while ago. They're not paying me to actually make the video, but they did send me the piece of gear, and I did have a little read through the manual. I think what's exciting about this potentially for people is that you've got an aux in, you've got an XLR out here, as well as an effects loop, the ability to turn on or off the IR via a switch, a DI lift, and 6 amp models in there. So the amp models that you've got in there are Fender Twin reverb, so that's vintage. Classic is Fender Vibro King. Modern is the Mesa Mark 1, apparently, which is obviously not a modern amp, so that's an odd name. The brown is the Friedman HBE. The red is the Mesa Dual Rectifier, and the Iridium is the Bogner Uberschall. A fair amount of choices there. The other thing that you've got going on is if you plug this into the PC or computer, you can actually change your whole kind of signal chain, and you can have EQ on there, you've got reverb, you've got an effects pedal at the front end as well, which I think can be like a compressor or a drive. You can have a Rose comp, Katana comp, RC boost, AC boost, tube screamer, morning drive, as in morning glory, red dirt, crunch. So how does it actually sound though? And yeah, it's also an interface. So I think the only other thing that I can think of that is quite as fully capable as this would be the Boss IR200, which is also an interface. Now obviously that's a bit more expensive, but I did think that was a really cool unit as well. So let's see what we get. So take everything to halfway. We're going to be on the vintage model, so handy, it's going green when you're on the vintage. Vibro King is yellow, and then red was the other one. What was the other one? I don't know. Anyway, so and we've got a bright switch on the presence control. I guess this scenes thing is also a bit of an addition compared to so that's the Twin apparently. So pretty nice, let's be honest. That's totally usable. The Vibro King then. If we just toggle through the scenes, let's see what we get. Bit more of a room reverb here, right? Interesting. quite a hot output from this thing though. Then channel 1 of a, no, Mark 1 Mesa. Got some noise reduction there, you can hear. And a boost. So, right, take the master down, get this reverb on again. What we do, adjust the decay and level. Although it doesn't seem like there's any on it. So when I come back, so that's kind of a neat little feature. I feel like to be able to have scenes as well as amps is pretty cool. Now let's jump over to amp B. So this is what interesting, that's pretty cool. So if I have that boost all the way down, apparently I can mute the thing, which would be better surely if that just turned off the boost. Okay, then what have we got? Amp 2 red, right? Which is a dual rectifier. And is loud. No boost on this one at the moment. now got a boost there as well. Okay, now a bit of reverb. So that's fairly cool. And then what have we got? Bogner Uberschall. So the thing, one of my complaints with the Boss IR200 is that if you've only got kind of 3 or a limited amount of amps, why would you make one of them quite an unusual amp? I'd say probably more folks would be interested in a Bogner Ecstasy, in my opinion. Scene 2 has a boost. Scene 3. So I can see that this could be quite useful, in fact. So you could have on your A, you could have a straightforward clean tone, right? And then my amp B, maybe I'll set this up to be, I don't know exactly. They're all a bit high gain on this third channel, aren't they? A little bit. So maybe we'll go with the Uberschall, but if we go to scene 3 again. Right, I'm going to just jump into the software, I think, and make some edits in there and try and put together something that I could just quickly switch through and make the intro for. I can see there's a load of potential in here, but I feel like maybe to really dig into it properly and get the scenes thing working seamlessly, and get the most out of this. It might need to be plugged in. Right, let's try this with the laptop. So this is fairly neat, I think, actually. So we can actually swap out the amps, apparently. So if I go here onto the, I can change, for example, classic, I could have this Mr. Z, so this is a Dr. Z amp now instead, and you can see also you can swap around the kind of order here, right? I think. So you've got features like EQ. Anyway, so if we go into channel A now, and scene 3. What have I got on there? It's a compressor, so that's cool. So I'm going to just try and copy that across for all of these settings, right? And we've also got a bias here, right? So if I just go to scene 1 as well, you see you've got basically options for quite a lot of this stuff. So the reverb can be a spring, hall, plate, damp, you know, quite a lot of options there. So if I now press save, and now as I change through these scenes, nothing much changes. So nothing's changing tonally anymore. So that's channel A, and then channel B, let's look at some of the options. I'm gonna change this to be the JCM and take the gain down a bit, and then what can we do? Everything halfway on a JCM should hopefully kind of work. So I'm going to just in terms of a boost, Morning Glory should work fairly nicely for this. Now, that could be scene 1. For scene 2, I'm going to turn on the reverb, right? And also, I think I'm going to bring in some EQ. And the EQ, I'm going to take down, what else can we do? Just a 6-band EQ. What I want this to do is tame some of the highs. And maybe give me even a bit of a boost. What does that sound like then? So scene 1. Scene 2. And that could work, I think. So if I press save on that, now when I switch to channel A, I've got my clean. If I switch to channel B, so it is kind of relatively simple to get that set up. So I've now got, as I say, channel A, I've got my kind of clean. Twin, and then B, I've got my Marshall. And a lead. So that's, I think, quite a cool little pedal, and as I say, you've got your kind of options about what you can have. Kind of, in a way, I do feel like they've taken it to a place a little bit more potentially interesting than where the Iridium is ever going to get to already. And of course, you can load in your own IRs, so that's handy as well. I don't think there's too much else that I've missed here. Maybe if you can think of anything, leave a comment. But again, you've got choices for pedals here that you can use as well. I think that's quite a funky little pedal, especially for the size. Let me know if you've got suggestions for other pedals that are relatively similar like that you think deserve a look. The NUX Amp Academy, thanks to NUX for sending me that one to check out. And yeah, an interesting pedal for sure. You've also got that send and return effects loop in there. A really strong kind of candidate for this kind of pedal, I think. Catch you in another video soon. Feel free to like and subscribe. Leave any questions you might have. Cheers.